Good afternoon. Welcome to Coach on Cam, a monthly webcast brought to you by the International Coaching Federation, Philippines Charter Chapter. Here we will spend 20 minutes talking about anything and everything about coaching. I am John Marie Mercado and I will be your host for today. In today's third episode, we will talk about co-creating the International Coaching Week. We will talk about this as well as a significant partnership that ICF Philippines will have with the People Management Association of the Philippines, or PMAP, and the Philippine Society of Fellows, or PSOF. Let me introduce our guests for this episode. Our first guest is the current president of the ICF Philippines Charter Chapter. Catherine has over 25 years in various fields of business, organizational, and cultural experience. She has served as a chapter leader of ICFP since 2018, while engaging in various life and executive coaching endeavors that led to her obtaining her ACC credential in 2022. She has helped found the coaching cooperative and continues to be a freelance coach engaged in volunteer work and pro bono coaching. Her coaching is centered in the belief that life's purpose is to be an instrument that inspires people to be the highest version of themselves in the alignment of their truth. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Catherine Limhoco. Hi,
Good
Catherine.
afternoon, John Marie. Thank you very much for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Our second guest is a seasoned HR professional with over 46 years' experience in different industries, including local and global conglomerates. He's an independent director, consultant, and advisor of companies, and an executive coach. He loves pursuing his vocation as an HR professional and helping companies and people reach their fullest potential. He was the former senior vice president for corporate human resources for JG Summit Holdings and is currently the chairman and president of the Dandul Realty Corporation. He is also a member of the Accreditation Council of the Society of Fellows of PMAP. Please give a virtual welcome to Nick Lim. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Jory. Hi, Catherine.
Well,
Hi,
welcome.
pleased to
And
part of this prestigious panel. A rare opportunity and privilege indeed. Thank you.
it is our privilege. And you mentioned Ina. That's last but not least our third guest. She has close to 30 years' experience as an organizational development consultant, facilitator, and trainer, and has been a professional coach since 2012. She's a certified, how do I pronounce this? She's a certified stakeholder centered coach, certified action learning coach, certified
Jungian
Jungian,
coach.
Jungian
Yeah, Carl
coach, and
Jung.
adjunct faculty with the Asian Institute of Management School for Executive Education and Lifelong Learning. She's an affiliate faculty with the Ateneo Graduate School of Business, School of Continuing Education, and a faculty of the Carl Jung Circle Center Philippines Depth Institute of Asia. I got that right. Ladies and
You
gentlemen,
got
please
it right.
welcome the President-elect of the International Coaching Federation Philippines Charter Chapter, Miss Charina Ina Teves. Hello, Ina.
Hi, Jamari, Catherine, and Nick. Very excited to share with everybody what we have for International Coaching Week and why we call it co-creating.
Thank you very much, Ina. Well, you gave me the opening right away. Catherine, let me start with you. What is International Coaching Week? Catherine, you're on mute.
So, the International Coaching Week is the International Coaching Federation's week-long global celebration of the power and impact of professional coaching that happens every year around the first 2 weeks of May. And as you know, Jo Marie, ICF has over 150 chapters around the world that will also concurrently be offering and engaging in coaching activities from May 8 to 14. So
So
every year,
this,
sorry.
yep, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was just about to also volunteer and say that every year, ICF focuses on a specific theme. And this year, we're focusing on exploring your potential. So configuring this theme around the workplace setting, we, along with our partners, as you had mentioned earlier, People Management Association of the Philippines and the Philippine Society of Fellows, we will explore leaders as coaches in a multimodal workplace.
I love how you said exploring the possibilities. And this is global, right? ICW is a global activity.
It is global, but we have our own programs, Jo Marie, that we're going to be offering as well, which is like on May 11 that we will be offering our own in-person ICW program. That
You mean I will finally get a chance to see you guys in person?
yes, we would like everybody to
After
finally
3 years of doing this, Ina, tell us more about the activities of ICW here in the Philippines.
Okay, so we have 3 days of activities. That's on May 9, 10, and 11. They're all um, for the members of the chapter and for our partner in this endeavor, no, PMAP. Uh, so on May 9, we have making an ROI in coaching. So coaching is now a growing industry. People are getting more and more interested in it. Clients are getting more and more interested in it. But how do I make it a career where I can actually do just coaching? No, so that's for on May 9, and that's an exclusive for ICF Philippines members. And then on May 10, we have handling difficult coaching conversations, and it's open to all ICF members globally. So as coaches, it's not always blue skies and sunflowers. Um, we do encounter challenges where we ourselves have to self-regulate. And so as we engage the client, so how do we do that and at the same time help the client?
So
And on May 11,
not all unicorns and rainbows, right?
not all unicorns and rainbows, no, but that's precisely why we're also needed. So um, and then May 11, the leader as a coach in the multimodal workplace. This is a face-to-face event, no, with PMAP, PSOF, and it will be in the Crown Plaza. So this is, coming from the context of the post-pandemic workplace, where people are having a hard time adjusting to a hybrid workplace. Some don't even want to go back on site. Some just want work from home. And now there's leaders are having a hard time engaging their teams. No, so how is a leader supposed to be that kind of leader to bring back people, to re-engage people? So the leader as coach. And I'm sure Nick has something to say about that. What's going on in the workplace now?
And thank you for giving me the cue for Nick. First of all, Nick, welcome to Coach and Cam. Before we talk about that, let's first talk about how significant. Tell us more about this partnership between ICFP and PMAP PSOF.
Oh, well, PMAP is what I'd like to think is the premier association for human resource practitioners in the country. And the Society of Fellows, or the Philippine Society of Fellows, is an affiliated body of PMAP that's composed of the more seasoned, tenured HR practitioners in the country. So it doesn't necessarily follow that AIDS becomes a primary requisite to being part of it. So the objective really is to partner with a group, and in this case, we have seen the ICF as a very reputable, credible coaching association, or what you call it, federation, that in fact I myself have benefited from in my past corporate life, and we would like to bring the power of coaching to our countrymen and to our leaders in the country, in our respective companies, as HR managers and HR heads, be able to influence that coaching really is a very important and inevitable requirement or prerequisite to making leaders effective in engaging their people, especially at this day and age of hyper digitalization of how we relate and engage with our employees. In that sense, coaching has become an inevitable part of a leadership competency that is required to be able to engage its people, no? And create that feeling among its people that in fact they can co-create how work is done, and that would differentiate whether or not employees or talents will stay or leave the company. So in a lot of sense, effective leaders now should be good coaches more than just
I
mentors.
Yeah, you touch on several points there about how the challenges of managing people now in what would like to call intermodal modes, right? There's virtual, there's hybrid, there's working from home, there's on-site. You talked about the different generations where their approach to work varies depending on the generation that they grew up in. So coaching, as you said, has become an essential competency that is needed by leaders. Nick, for May 11 at Crown Plaza, what can we expect to happen? What can we expect to see?
Well, I see some of my colleagues acting as panel, members of the event, no? And I think they're all be coming from their own experiences, sharing with the membership and those who will be attending the power again of coaching. So I think it's a good investment in time to attend that, because that's going to expose those who have not yet been exposed to coaching, what it really means, not only for the 10 participants who would mostly be, I assume, HR managers of the respective companies, equip them to how to influence their leadership to adopt coaching as a way of their life, making it part of the culture. In my past life, Han, just across the whole conglomerate of the Gokongwei Group, the coaching has become a very, very important prerequisite to becoming a leader of any company within the group. No less than even Lance Gokongwei had to go through coaching, and I think that itself is I think greatly spells the difference of why, with all due prudence, most of the companies of the group are blue chip companies today.
Well, it all starts from the top, right? And
Of course,
in,
that starts from the top.
right, and Catherine, so Nick mentioned about, so the event is open to PMAP members, of course, HR managers who may not have had the experience of working with coaches. So how can we make International Coaching Week relevant to those people who are not coaches, like HR managers, business people, or even the general public?
I think it would still be very relevant, Jo Marie, to business people as well as the public, because they'll learn how to effectively navigate and thrive in a multimodal way in which we work. And as both Ina and Nick were describing, that we are now trying to balance and coordinate working and meeting online and on-site, and learning and brainstorming synchronously and asynchronously. So in this conversation, we will learn how best practices, the do's and don'ts. So it's very applicable, in other words. We learn how to engage and align hybrid teams, ensure accountability, sustain excellence performance. These are the things that they will be learning. They'll also learn how coaching skills motivate and accelerate growth and create a supportive, high performance environment, as well as how leader coaches positively impact individuals, teams, and organizations, that the people would recognize the importance of developing leaders as coaches and fostering a coaching culture. And they stand to also learn the vast and wide benefits of coaching, right? That hopefully ignites a desire to discover what coaching is and be coached. to experience coaching to help them gain a deeper understanding of the process and the profession. And if you want me to go ahead and elaborate a little bit further,
Go ahead, please.
you're laughing, Giovanni. But you know, a coaching culture, I mean, just to expound on what Nick was saying, why it is relevant as well, because it supports and empowers employees to grow and learn, right? It builds stronger, resilient teams that motivate teams to work together and support each other with their goals. And it also creates successful, strong, empowered leaders that who in turn, you know, strengthen and empower organizations to grow and prosper. So there's a lot to take away from this in-person event that we're having on May 11th.
And so what I'm getting from you is coaching is not just for an individual. There's coaching for teams, there's coaching for leaders, and it expands throughout the entire organization. Ina, from your experience, and I know you're connected with AIM, I know you're connected with Ateneo, but how do companies that implement coaching programs, Nick mentioned a bit about it already, but from your experience, how do they support their leaders?
Well, typically, it's part of a leadership development program, no, where coaching is a vital part, along with mentoring and skills training for leaders. So what happens there is that in the coaching, I'll just focus on the coaching alone. It, they do identify individuals who are high potential, individuals who might be who they see has potential for higher level office, and oftentimes the coaching comes in not just for the technical skills, but more for the quote unquote soft skills of leadership. No, I put quote unquote because soft skills are really difficult. They're hard.
Yep,
So,
but Ina, I actually believe that they're not soft skills. I believe they're essential skills,
oh, I like that. No, so essential
especially in
skills.
today's intermodal workplace, right? And you can't survive if you don't have that competency.
That's very true. Because in today's multimodal workplace, people need to feel that they're still cared for. And you can't just get that vibe by looking at little square boxes, like, in meetings every day, all day. And you don't know how people are without really being able to ask questions, checking in on them. And so a coaching program would help leaders develop that, no? Develop a certain kind of empathy, the way to ask questions, the way to spot coaching moments, developing not just individuals in their team, but also developing the team itself, no? So that a leader develops other leaders. So that's how a coaching program might work. Another entry point would be building teams. And so teams can become self-coaching entities where each one now knows how to ask questions, knows how to think in systems. And so it's just not something that's always spoon-fed to them. So those are two ways: a leadership development program targeting individuals, and a team development program targeting teams.
And once you develop that competency, it becomes a natural thing and becomes part of how you work with a team and how you manage your team. Nick, with your vast experience, well, even just let's just talk about JG Summit, which is such a large organization. I enjoyed my last flight with Cebu Pacific, by the way. Maybe you can share with us a couple of success stories of how coaching has helped improve the performance of your employees.
You know, coaching today in the Gokong Way Group or GG Summit has become part of the DNA of the organization, starting at leadership level. It was our way of providing a psychologically safe environment for employees to speak up, for employees not to see the leaders as doing a command and control, a way of leading, realizing that we now live and work in a multi-generational talent of workforce. and the power of understanding its idiosyncrasy of talent or generation is very important. And unless you unleash that that environment that allows for the employees to be open and psychologically safe and not fear about reprisal for being open, then you would stand to lose against competition. So it was our way of engaging our people, and it's become part of our performance management system. We do performance dialogues, conversations. Our leaders know when to do coaching, ask powerful questions, or when to do mentoring. So it's part of what we call the trait, the leadership of inspiring and nurturing our employees. So coaching is as I mentioned, a requirement. It's become part of our culture, the culture of the Gokongwei group. And it's been a tough climb at the start, influencing the leaders. But again, this is the test to every HR leader, the ability to influence the leaders, to embrace coaching starts with the quality by which on how the leader, the HR leader, is able to draw the leadership to be part of it. So coaching, way back as early as around 5 years ago, we seriously got all the company presidents, from even as high the level of our CEO, Lance Gohongwei, and every Robina and everyone, into a 3-day program out in our new Dusit Tani hotel in Cebu, Mactan. So
Yep,
everyone,
maybe we should have the face-to-face meeting there rather than in
yeah,
Crown Plaza.
sure. And fly Cebu Pacific, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the two words really stood out with what you said: safe environment. I think it's
Psychological.
very, very essential. And I would love to talk to you a little bit more about the challenges that you had to go through to be successful there. But unfortunately, we're running out of time, right? It's been such an interesting conversation. So I'd like to give you just a few seconds to please invite our viewers to International Coaching Week. Let's start with Catherine.
Everyone, I'm really excited to invite you on our first in-person event. And unfortunately, I have to say that it's not exactly open to the general public. It is a little bit more exclusive to the PMAP and PSOF. But nonetheless, I think this would be our viewers, and we would very much like you to come and witness and learn and really grow from the experience of hearing from the leaders in our community during that event. So as you heard, all of us, with all the spiels that we're saying, I won't repeat it anymore, but please join us. We would love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Ina?
Yeah. So I invite all ICF Philippines members and the ICF Global members, for the particular sessions. But for ICF and PMAP PSOF, I hope to see you all in Crown Plaza. Let's all share experiences and our hard-won wisdom, no, on how do we build coaching culture? Um how do we help leader coaches? Let's get tips from each other. Let's co-create a future for the multimodal workplace. See you there.
Thank you, Ina. And Nick, I look forward to meeting you face to face on May 11. Would you like to invite the
Likewise.
PMAP and PSOF members?
Yeah, so I enjoyed my colleagues from the People Management Association of the Philippines and the Philippine Society of Fellows to come join us in this much-awaited face-to-face interaction and learn about the power of coaching. I think to many of the members of the association, this is a much-awaited session, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it, and I promise it will not be a wasted time. It will be worth your time going. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, Ina, what time on May 11?
Okay, on May 11th, it's 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
1 to 5
Please,
p.m.
yes, please remember to register. And if you want to experience coaching, a real coaching session with a professional coach, register also for that.
So what we'll do is at the end of this program, we'll flash a QR code or the registration details so that you can pick it up. So unfortunately, that's all the time we have for our third episode. Thank you once again, Catherine, Ina, Nick, for sharing your valuable knowledge with our audience. I mean, it was right, Kat? It went by so quickly. This episode will be available for viewing on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Please do send us any comments and suggestions via ICF Philippines on Messenger. It's been a pleasure hosting this, and we hope to see you next month for another interesting session on the wonderful world of coaching. Bye and stay safe.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Take
Thank
care.
you so
you.
much, John. Thank you for doing this.